Yo, what's up guys, hope you're good. We're back in our brand new video, this time in AOR again, round 11 in Belgium, around Spa-Francorchamps, and a bit of different weather here, dry qualifying, but as you can see the race was actually going to be wet and it was going to start in intermediate conditions, transiting or moving over to wet conditions later on in the race. And so we just went out on track. We picked the normal tyre option, the balanced one, which gives you one soft tyres, one soft set, and then two options, which is super soft tyres. We just went out on the soft tyres first to put in, but just get used to the track really and just get in a rhythm. And coming around the last corner now, we don't actually finish the lap, no point, just come into the pits and yeah, just go on new sets. And around here it's actually pretty tight in terms of going out and putting in laps. Like you can do 3 runs I think, but it's just about on the limit. So yeah, we just didn't really need to finish that lap as we're not going to qualify on the softs, no point since it's going to be a wet start. But here we are now on the super soft tyres, come around the last chicane, going as wide as possible. Well, could have done more there, but either way, get a decent exit, open DRS and hoping to start a lap now. And we need a good lap here, because I think a good lap here was like in the 44s, like very high 44s. And as you can see there on the exit, we pick up the exit curb, which is not nice at all, and that will cost us I think a 10th. I'd say it's pretty important to get a good exit there. So we come here into the chicane, decent lap overall. I mean, I think there was a bit more time to find, but coming around 45.3 mid session, it's pretty decent, but there's definitely room to improve. Sector 2 is a bit scruffy, sector 3 as well a bit. I think the last chicane wasn't too good. So coming to the pits now to put on a new set of tyres, and as you can see, Finch on pole at the moment, 45.2, pretty decent lap from him. Us in third, Martin fifth, second, Martin third. So yeah, then we went out on new set of tyres, hoping to actually get a decent lap in, and this time we take a wide entry. Bit of oversteer on the exit, but now we get to start a lap across the line into turn 1. Where you want to brake is usually at the 100-meter board, and then drop down to first gear, then shift back up to second, avoid the exit curb on the left there. Now already you can see we're about nearly a 10th up. Like I said, I think a 10th loss is what we had earlier, and now go for your rouge, keeping that momentum that we had early on from the exit and still gaining time on our delta. Open the DRS, and here again you want to brake at just like near the 100-meter board, closing the DRS before braking, taking the apex nicely on the inside here as well, putting the car from left to right for this right sweeper, and about 10th and a half up now, braking just as the curb starts on the left there. Avoid lockups, drop down to second gear, shift up to third and fourth, into no name, take a wide entry, keep you on the exit and keep you on the entry line, take the entry curb on the left. But now into pull, and I think this is, we could have done a bit more there, but it's okay. We're about 3/10 up now into this right hand. It's like a chicane here, but yeah, pretty decent through there, and again through here as well. I felt like I was maximizing the tracks, not accelerating as quick as I can, as early as I can, but just maximizing the track, letting the car do the job. And through here as well, about 3/10 up on our time, a 10th up on Finch's time, who's on a 45.2, and only the chicane to go now. We've got Blanchim on now, which is flat out, so that's pretty good. And into the chicane now, I believe I could have gained a bit more here, braking just before the 100-meter board, dropping down to second gear, dropping to first just before the last corner, shift up to second and third, picking up the exit curb on the right there, which is not nice, but come across the line now. We're at 44.9, we gained like a 10th at the last chicane as well, which is pretty good. And as you can see there though, ESR Orca straight away beats our time, and he's set at 44.8, which is a pretty decent time. Come round, watching Martin now come across the line, and he sets I think a 45.3, something like that, and he goes up to 5th place. Finch 4th place, he remains 4th place, and that's pretty much it. Danny also takes 2nd place, which is a 1-2 for Haas, so good job by them two. And yeah, okay, I was happy to start 3rd, to be honest. I think the OP Cipcium on the back straight is the one positive to take, but then again it is wet, and right now the part phone was actually unlocked, but I didn't want to cheat. I started on a low setup, and I wanted to keep that low setup. And even though I could have, well, even though it was unlocked, I didn't want to change. And I actually felt comfortable with this low setup anyway. It just, I haven't really done any wet running since like Australia qualifying, where it was intermediate conditions, I think, which then became dry at the end. But yeah, that was the last time I actually touched the wet surface of the track. That's the only time I've done like wet running, and I knew like it being wet this session, it's going to take me a few laps to get used to it. And yeah, so on the out lap, I was just trying to drive maximum speed, leaving a gap, and just trying to take the lines that I will try and take in a race. But as you can see in the points there, championship standings, 77-point gap at the moment, and I think if I finish first and Martin finishes 9th, I think we do claim the championship if it ends like that. But that's highly unlikely, given Martin like is just top class driver, so he'll definitely not be finishing 9th unless he gets really unlucky, which yeah, it will be a shame. But yeah, championship on the cards for sure, but not trying to keep that on my mind at the moment, just focusing on the race and hoping to win. And that would be nice around here, because Cooper took the win here last season, so it'd be nice to tick this off my win list as well. It'd be nice to have a win here as well. But we have the 2 Hasses in front of us that we have to dispatch as soon as possible, because we know Limitless and Martin are pretty quick in the wet, and yeah, so we just have to get on with it early on. But 5 lights, here it is, lights out and away we go. So far an okay start, not a great start, or just trying to keep our front wing intact, not braking early just to avoid any damage, and oversteer on the exit. And yeah, from near here on I was going to struggle. I knew I was going to struggle because I still had to get used to it. But yeah, coming through this Rouge now, pretty okay, car a bit unstable through there, but running low downforce is not really a surprise. But Danny goes defensive on the inside. We've got a good run. We switch to Orca slipstream on the left there. We go onto the inside just before braking, and pretty nice job there, up to 2nd place. And I think that's Finch that's gone off track there, and I think under braking Danny also might have hit me and broke his wing a bit, so that's a shame for him. That's a real shame for him. He had a good qualifying session, and to break his wing early on is a real shame. And yeah, the thing is, I covered the inside before braking, so I don't personally feel like I was at fault for that. Maybe, I'm not sure, I don't want to go into it too much, but I felt like it wasn't under braking, it was just before braking, so there was enough time to react perhaps. But again, nevertheless, it's a real shame for him, because all that good effort in the qualifying, and even in the race he was probably going to be up there for sure. It's a real shame that he's got the wing damage now, but we have to focus on this race. And so far we're in 2nd place, only Orca in front of us, which his name used to be Killer Whale before, just so you guys don't know. Yeah, he changed his name to Orca, so yeah, he's currently leading right now. And at the moment I think he was running low setup, I was running low setup, and Finch was running low setup. And you might be asking why I'm actually running low setup, and that's actually because in Australia, like when I did 3 league races there in the wet, I tried a very high setup, it didn't work. In Spain I tried it, like high wings, it didn't work. And then in China as well, season 12, I tried it and it still didn't work. I was just so much slower against like Ciaru, Martin and Limitless. And yeah, on the straights I was just getting mollered, so just decided to run 4.3 here. And I think Alonso was actually running 4.2. I think Orca and that were running 4.3 as well. So yeah, that's pretty much why I didn't go for the high wings. And I don't know if I should have tried it or not. I know Limitless and Martin were like fast with high wings. As you can see, Orca's made a mistake there, so we've actually got a good run now on him, and he's still trying to he's trying to get his momentum back up to speed. We tried to go round the outside here, braking at the 150 meter board, trying to keep it round the outside, side by side into here. We're still side by side. He's on the inside, I'm on the outside. Through his right hander, we leave each other enough room. Respectful between us two here, and a lot of respect for him to give him that much space to me. And again, through here, still side by side. I didn't want to cover the inside because I felt like I wasn't too far ahead and it would have just clipped his wing or something. Still side by side through No Name here, and it's just incredible now. That's been 3-4 corners that we're side by side. Coming up to pull on, he's on the outside, but I have the inside line. I can break a bit later and maintain that inside line, and that's job done. We're into the lead, and I think that's Limitless up to 3rd place now. So yeah, he's up to third. He's done a brilliant job. I think he started 6th or 7th, so he's up to 2nd place now. He's made another move into that right hander. He's now right behind us. He's pretty quick at the moment, but yeah, he's running high setup. I'm running low setup. So on the straights, I feel like he won't be able to overtake even with slipstream, but under braking and high speed corners, he might have a good chance. So coming up to Blanchimont now, up to rich mix, keeping a rich mix, and we know we're going to lose a bit of time here, so back off slightly, turn in, and just about make the corner. I think that limit has actually hit us there, so it just shows how much speed he can carry through Blanchimont, how much more speed he can carry on with the high setup and that, and he's actually hit me, and that is actually a real shame because he actually got, I think, a yellow wing damage or orange, I'm not sure, one of the two, and that's going to cost him a lot of time, incredibly lot of time. And yeah, into turn 1 here, we actually make a mistake, go wide, and at the moment I'm still struggling because, like I said, I just didn't have any wet running. I'm just struggling a lot. I know a few more laps I can get used to it, but at this moment I'm just trying to keep the car on the track, and we picked the inside line through Rouge. Incredible save there, like just about saved it, and we have limiters on our outside line, and like I said, with the low setup, he's not going to be able to overtake because he's just losing so much speed on the straight there. And we still maintain. He tries to go round the outside because under braking he'll have decent downforce to make a move, but again we just covered that inside line off by braking a bit later, getting off the throttle, and just let the car turn in and carry more speed than M4 now. And again through here, bit of oversteer on the entry, but still okay. I mean, I felt like I was still going to maintain the lead, and even if he didn't have the wing damage, I felt like I still could have maintained the lead. But he was definitely so much faster at this point. I think if I made a mistake, he would have definitely gone through. And as you can see there, heavy rain in 15 minutes. So yeah, heavy rain in 15 minutes, that means it would be like just like last season where heavy rain came about lap 10, lap 11, I think actually lap 13 it might be, and it never became wet weather tyres, never. Like it just stayed, intermediates were the faster tyres throughout the last 10 laps or so, just like Germany last season. So at this point, I'm still thinking 50-50 if inters are quicker or wets are quicker when the wet weather comes. And as you can see, I've actually opened a bit of gap to limiters due to the wing damage. And I kind of do wish I actually started with a high setup because I think it would have been easier for me to adapt straight away. And yeah, with the low setup, it's just a lot of struggling. As you can see, even Falcon, Stu, and a few more guys are just quicker than us at this point, even though we have clean air and they're like right behind a few drivers. So yeah, cutting on to lap 4, coming through the chicane now, and I think actually I forgot to mention Martin actually dropped down to last at some point because he had a moment at Eau Rouge at first, and then at Blanchimont ahead of him, I think Burnout made a mistake ahead of him, or Burnout hit Stu, something like that, and then Martin ended up clipping and spinning. So another shame for him, and he had to pit for a new set of front wing. But at this point, we're setting the fastest lap. So we come across the line now, and we set a 2:1.6, which is not fastest lap, but the lap before we set the fastest lap. But I think Martin was able to beat that, and he probably still has the fastest lap right now. That's why we didn't get the fastest lap. So yeah, it clearly shows that high setup was definitely the better option to go around this track in the wet. But yeah, I had doubts because of the other tracks like Australia, China, and Spain where I used high setup. It just didn't work. I was just so much slower, and I don't know why. It was like that. And yeah, so instead of running like 7.6, I was running like 10.9 or something. I was just so much slower. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it just works different at different tracks. I don't know, but right now we have a bit of gap to limitless, and Alonso's actually moved out to 3rd, so that's pretty good from him being my brother as well. I'm going from 9th. He started 9th and went up to 3rd, so he's doing a decent job, and he had to go past Orca, and yeah, so he's definitely, I feel like he's the fastest driver right now. I think Martin's the fastest driver, but in terms of like batting for the win, in terms of contention for the win, I think Alonso is currently the fastest driver. Limiters probably would have been much faster than us if he didn't have the wing damage, but yeah, at this point, looking at it now, it looks like Alonso is a bit more faster, and Limiters actually pulls into the pits, I think, to go on new set of inters and also new front wing, so he can he can stop losing time, and just once he comes out the pit, he can start to close the gap back down and make his way back up. So yeah, definitely the right way to go in my opinion, so you can stop losing time. Yeah, so come now, still on lap 8, and right now, and as you can see, that's actually 2 hour limits has retired from the session. So I think he crashed at Eau Rouge. So yeah, that is a pretty hard pill to swallow. I think it's a tough one. It really is a tough one. I mean, when you have the pace and you know that you can actually challenge for the win, to actually retire from it is pretty. Yeah, it's definitely a hard one to get over. But yeah, it's a real shame for him, but we have to just carry on focusing on our race, and heavy rain has actually come now, so at this point we just have to start thinking what to do. And it's lap 12 now, tyres are coming to the end of their lives, and yeah, at this point it's just Jeff's telling me that he's just pretty much telling me like what situation's going on. And yeah, it's just at this point Inters was still feeling okay, lap time wise he was still feeling good, so I just stayed out on the track as much as I can to get even more feedback. I don't want to, last thing I want to do is pit now and then it ended up being like I just end up being on the wrong tyre, and so just stay out as much as I can. And I think I'm pushing my luck with the tyres at the moment, because yeah, the tyre percentage is tyre wear percentage is going up, and we know that 75% will get a puncture as we go wide in turn 1 again. Like just yeah, it clearly shows that tyres are going off. But yeah, like I said, just the last thing I want to do is pit now. And as you can see, the Jeff actually tells us to go on Inters right there. You can see he just told us to go on Inters, so he clearly thinks that wet weather tyres are not the right tyres to be on at this point. So we stay on Inters for now, we don't pit yet, and behind us is still Alonso and Orca, so they haven't pit yet. They clearly think the same, and Jeff actually calls us, or he just asks us to go on a strategy, and again he tells me to go on intermediate tyres. So yeah, at this point I'm thinking, okay, it's still intermediate tyres, it's not wets yet. And at this point I just started thinking it's just like Spa last season and Austria actually, where Cupid pit for wets and it just wasn't wets. So coming around now, front right tyre is 72%. I didn't see that at all. I looked at the front left and it said like 68, 69, so I thought okay, I can go for another lap. And I did not see that front right at all, 72%, I did not see that. So yeah, went for another lap, not knowing that, and you can see like top right there, we're 2 seconds off, but I think 1 second or 1.5 seconds is due to me being on old tyres. That's usually how it is, delta difference. So overall I'm only about half a second off my pace, off my usual pace. So yeah, I'm like okay, Alonso pit, Orca pit, and they've gone on to intermediate tyres, and I'm on 72% there on the front right, and I'm like that's literally when I saw it, and I'm like oh dear, like yeah, I'm screwed now. If that goes up to 75 and I get a puncture, yeah, that's my race just screwed over. At this point Jeff actually asked for the different strategy, and again he asked me to go on intermediate tyres, and during like the last 2 laps he actually kept telling me on the radio as well to like just saying like these tyres that were on are okay, like you don't have to switch to wets yet. So I just say box this lap, and I'm on 75% at this moment, coming through here, taking off a bit of speed just in case, or just to not wear the front right too much. And coming into the chicane now, okay, no puncture yet, that's pretty good. And coming around now, and Jeff asks for another strategy again, and by the time I get the option to press X, I've gone into the pits. So yeah, looking on the race director now, I can see Orca on wets, I can see Surprise on wets, Williams on wets, Lucky Dog on wets, and I'm thinking crap, is it actually a wet time now? Because like we got told by Jeff that like 2-3 times that it's Inters, and we got asked right in the last minute. We got asked, we don't know if it's Inters or wets yet. I just didn't want to press it because didn't want to press it, not yeah, I just couldn't press it because it came up just as I was about to cross the line, like the pit entry line. So yeah, and not only that, when Finch pit, he pit for Inters and he was racing around guys on wets, and he was saying that he was much faster than him at that time. So, and that was like lap 13, lap 14. So I think at this point I was like okay, like it's still Inters, and me and Alonso are still like opening the gap to Orca a bit. So yeah, and now is when Jeff says his time is well, it's the time to come into the pits to change tyres. And I'm like, are you actually serious? Just like Germany and like Spa just being screwed over with strategy, just not telling me the right one. And Martin got told that it's like time for inters. So yeah, I think that last call that Jeff called me like just before the pits, I think that was the call for wets. I just didn't like, I couldn't press to see if it was for wets. It just came right at the last minute, and that is just, yeah, that's it. We can't pit now. If we pit now, that's an extra like 15-20 seconds that we're going to lose, which we're not going to make up. And yeah, right now it's Orca catching us down, and Alonso was actually catching me like throughout the whole race. It was, the gap was like 5 seconds or so, and he dropped it down to like 1.5 seconds. He was catching me up, and we both had only 1 or 2 warnings, and Orca had a penalty. So yeah, at this point it's going to be really hard to keep Orca behind, because he's like much faster at this point, gaining about 2 seconds just in sector 2 alone. So clearly showing that the wet tyres are the right ones to be on at this moment. And also Alonso, forgot to say that Alonso had a glitch where Jeff would call him for a different strategy, and he'd press X and it just wouldn't come up. Like the button wouldn't, like he would press the button but nothing would come up at all. And that screwed him over as well, because he couldn't change for wets. He didn't know. Well, but Jeff didn't tell him anything. Well, even when he did, he couldn't see. So yeah, at this point he's defending really well against Orca. This is like nearly about half a lap now he's defending against him, and still about 5-6 laps to go. He's trying to keep him he's trying to keep him behind, and he still is. Like, fair play, that's full credit to him to be able to do that, because Orca's about 3 seconds a lap faster, maybe even 4. So yeah, how he's kept him behind for like nearly a full lap is incredible. So yeah, respect to him, fair credit to him. And coming across the line now, Orca finally goes past Alonso, and now the gap's 2.1 seconds. And well, yeah, I expected him to be right behind me like after half a lap. So yeah, at this point it's just, I knew what was coming. Like, it was just inevitable. I can't even say it. Inevitable. Yeah, that. I'm not gonna say it again, but yeah, that word. And yeah, so I knew pretty much the win was gone now. Nothing I can do. I mean, I can try and defend, but there's no point really when someone's that much faster. And covering the inside here, and he does have much more grip to go around the outside, but I guess he just doesn't want to risk it either, because he knows that it's his race to lose at this point, and it's not going to turn. It's not going to become inters anytime soon. It's definitely wets to the end, and I honestly just couldn't believe it. And you might have seen like Jason tweet after this race. He pretty much said what I was exactly thinking. It's literally like a lottery, and you have to like pretty much guess if the game's going to work properly or not. And into Blanchimont now, we break a bit early to try not to run out like the track, and Orca still has like the momentum to go around the outside. We break late just to cover the inside. He switches back to the outside, and then switches right behind us, switches back to the inside, which is now the outside line into turn 1. And right now I felt like, okay, I have the inside line, I'll be fine. And he's way behind at this point, but his car just like, it felt like he lagged forward, or he just braked much later, and he's still around the outside. We give enough room for him, and that's it. It's over. That's our win gone, and nothing you can do really. I mean, fair play to Orca for actually going on the wets, and as you can see, yeah, that was not fun at all. I mean, we could have just lost 18 points straight away there, and we'll get to watch the replay now. Picking up the inside there, full lock steering, or full lock counter steering there, even going off the throttle and controlling the car with the throttle and the steering, just to like avoid spinning into the wall. And at that point I was like, yeah, whew. Yeah, that could have been like really embarrassing. And yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much it. In terms of the race win, it's gone because I'm on the wrong tyre. And yeah, I mean, it was, for me, it was also a hard pill to swallow, because I just didn't know what to think at this point. Like, went on the wrong tyres, but at that time Jeff kept telling us that was the tyre to be on, so I even stayed out an extra few laps just in case it changed, and like just in case he said to go on to wets. And I know that as soon as he say it's wets, I'll go on to wets, but he never said it. And like last season it happened the same thing. Like it rained, heavy rain at the same time, and he never told us to go on wets. We just stayed on inters, and me and Cupid pit in the last 2-3 laps were inters, and it was still the same pace. So yeah, I mean, yeah, too much moaning from me, too many excuses, but that is pretty much the case from this race. And I felt like even if I like pit for wets and Alonso pit for wets, I think Alonso was going to be the one to win this race, because he was closing a lot of, like, he was closing the gap a lot, and he would definitely, I think, flew past me. He even took his first ever league race win here in wet conditions, so I knew like if we both win on wets, he would have definitely been the one to catch me up and win. I felt like me and Alonso opened the gap to Orca, so I think us two would have comfortably had a 1-2, but I don't think I would have won, because Alonso would have took the lead. But either way, that is the end result. Sorry if that's too much moaning, but yeah, that's pretty much it. And Martin, actually, shout out to him, he climbed way up the grid. He was last, he was dead last after like lap 1, and he's up to 4th. He went for the wet tyre, and he just pulled off a good comeback, and fair play to him, incredible job. Looking further down the grid, Jason in 5th, another consistent result for him, pretty good. Falcon in 6th, ESR Ryan in 7th, actually, he's picked up another 6 points after Germany. Lucky Dog in 8th, Stu in 9th, Williams in 10th, and Finch in 11th, rounding up the top 11 there, and the rest I think DNF. So I think only the top 10 finished that race, and then the rest DNF, so real shame for them, unlucky for them, especially for Limitless. I felt like he definitely would have been up there, and possibly even took a dominant win if he went on the right tyres as well, just like Orca. So yeah, that's pretty much it from this race. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Again, apologies if that's too much moaning. I just felt like I need to put that all out there, just to say, like, just to explain what went through my mind at the time and how I felt about it after the race. So yeah, that is pretty much it. Again, thank you so much for the support, and hope you guys enjoyed that. Catch you next time. Cheers.